Hi guys, and welcome to Michelin King's YouTube channel. Today we will be focusing on the leather cleaner product Cleanse and the leather feed product Nourish. Nourish is available in the 500ml that you see here, also the 250ml product as well, and lastly it's available in 1 litre. Before we start a leather cleanse, we just want to cover a few points here. Like many projects, you just want to cast your eye over what you're about to do. As we can see in the bolster here, there's some wear areas, a few creases. Just when you sit on it, these will fold down slightly. There's a crease just on the top left of the seat there, and there's about 7 or 8 creases just along the second quadrant, which is that. Again, the technique that we use here is just to spritz the corner of a microfiber. Very much depends on the leather that you have. If it's a newer vehicle, tend to find that there'll be a clear coat on top. If it's an older vehicle, tend to find that it will just be leather. Always check with the manufacturer if you can proceed with other products, especially if the car has been treated to some sort of colourant or dye if the leather's been previously dyed. I always like to use microfiber cloths instead of brushes with the leather, just as a personal preference. I like to use the softest method possible to get the results. In addition to this, just for the aesthetic point of view, we obviously don't have gloves on for the camera. However, we strongly suggest that as a client you certainly should have gloves that are suitable to your skin. Something thin, just enough that it protects your skin. You don't want to bite into a sandwich and taste a bit of leather cleaner at the same time. Now, let's look at the second quadrant here. We just want to, already coming across the folds in the leather, so we just want to ease the pressure up and actually work that length of grain. We don't want to rub across them or agitate it. We want to just wipe up that way. The reason for that is we don't want to stress the leather any further than it already is. And we can just go back to normal procedure when we're away from any of the softer areas or the areas that maybe have a wee bit of damage. If you do discover any tears, perforations, that type of thing, stay clear of them, and again phone the manufacturer or your local dealership to find out how to fix these areas. Quite a number of our approved detailers also carry out leather correction as well. It's not the easiest of projects to do, and sometimes bringing in the professional is the better option. Now, we can already see an improvement in this leather as we work round. Again, this is just water, light pressure, don't want to frighten the leather. You can see we are picking up some grime there. Just take the dry end of the cloth, wipe it across and just dry that. Don't want to leave anything sitting on the leather for any longer than it needs to be. Second step, if you reach for the Cleanse product, this one was personalised, has TK Detailing, one of our approved detailers in England, and just spritz 3 or 4 times, absolutely plenty. I just want to make sure that we don't have any more suds than we need to, just wipe that in. And again, we're getting to the creases here, so we just want to wipe them up or down. Don't want to agitate them any more. The creases here are actually diagonal, so I am following their exact line. Once you get away from these areas, press down just slightly, not too firm, and it just opens the grain. Just want to release these contaminants. Want to be careful where the leather joins. We've got some thread along here. We don't want to absolutely pummel that area, just because you run the risk of damaging the thread. Again, it might take 2-3 passes to get this area completely acceptable, up to standard. You can see we're still pulling grime at this stage. So we go back to our cloth here, just get a fresh corner, a few spritz. Now this has a slightly rougher pile. It's still exceptionally soft, but it does have a wee bit more grab, and that will just allow us, because this area of the seat is particularly grimy, to open the leather slightly. And again, diagonal lines where the cracks are. Don't want to put any more pressure on than needs be. And dry that area. Now that looks far better than when we started. It's more of a matte finish. You'll see another big improvement. We just take some water here. Again, don't let the leather cleaner lie on the leather for any longer than it needs to be. This is a very important step when cleaning leather. You must remove the leather cleaner. Don't let it sit on the leather. The reason being, when we come to feed the leather, essentially you already know the answer. You're putting a product which is trying to nourish the leather on top of a product which is still trying to clean it. So again, quite a big difference when you actually get the leather cleaner. And even when you're drying, still stick to the diagonal. Don't be tempted to start rubbing in circular motions. Now what we want to do is just ensure that it's completely dry. Just gently come across there. You'll find quite a difference on this panel. Start to see it softer, a wee bit more plump as well, just because we're activating the leather essentially. It's coming back to shape nicely there, and the creases look, oh, such a difference. You can actually see the grime in there before. Now, we want to go on to the final step here. So, choosing a clean area. You don't have to work the nourish in. Simply just spritz it onto clean microfiber. As you can see, this is a brand new one. You want to make sure there's enough on the microfiber, and just rub that. What the nourish does is it makes the leather easier to clean the next time round, and that is neatly taken across the patch there. And then use the back of the cloth to wipe it off. The leather doesn't feel as dry, the surface of the leather doesn't feel as dry anymore. There's a lot more flexibility to it as well, and you just want to make sure you're taking that off. Again, we put a reasonable amount on here. What you can actually do at this stage, because this leather hasn't been cleaned in quite some time, is you can let that sit for a few minutes. You always find that the edges dry out the fastest, and it just narrows in and comes in here as well. And then again, just go over the top. want to make sure every area is covered. You know when the leather is completely nourished because it will take longer for the product to dry. The faster it dries, that's an indication that another application is needed. And that's us. I just want to wipe that back. Certainly from this side here, that's a vast improvement over the third patch here. It's a richer tone, far more supple as well. We want to leave that to dry now and come back to it. You can park it up in the garage for the evening, come back to it in the morning if you wish, and just go over the top here. Just pull back like that. That concludes the nourish and cleanse application video. If you do have any questions, please forward them to inquiries@michelinking.co.uk. You can purchase these products from our website, which is www.michelinking.com. Obviously, you can also phone the office for any questions or to order products over the phone. Telephone number is 01877 365 005. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a pleasant day and we hear from you soon.